Good morning. I would like to call to order this meeting of the Fremont County Board of County Commissioners and invite you to rise for an invocation by Grant Atkinson with Cowboy Church, and we are so happy to have you with us this morning, sir.
Thank you. Father, we have a lot to be thankful for. Thank you for your protection for so many around our country. We certainly pray for those who may have tested positive, that you'd bring healing and strength, and for those families that have lost loved ones, we ask for your peace, your encouragement, and you to lift them up. But we thank you for so many that are able to be back. We thank you for the variants, and we thank you that that's come through our leadership. And I pray for each of our leaders in Fremont County, in our city, that you'd continue to guide them. Thank you for leading them to bring us through so many difficult things. And as I look at the agenda in so many areas, Lord, I just pray for your direction, your wisdom. I pray you'd give them strength, and I pray you'd protect them, give them health and their families. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
If you'd stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Grant.
Thank you, Grant.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Present.
There's a hand one there. No.
Let's try this again. Commissioner Bell.
Present.
Commissioner McFall.
Present.
Commissioner Payne.
Present.
County Attorney Jackson.
Present.
And for the record, both County Manager Bryant and Planning Zoning Director Gary are in the audience today.
Thank you. We move next to the approval of today's agenda. I am unaware of any changes we need to make.
I'm unaware as well, Madam Chair. I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve today's agenda. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Turning next to our consent agenda, I would like to call your attention to a public hearing that we are scheduling on June 23rd at 10 a.m. We will have a conditional use permit before us for the Desert Reef Beach Club located south of Florence on County Road 110. So that will be, again, at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, June 23rd. If anyone would like to come and discuss, you can be here at that time. Anything else on the consent agenda, gentlemen?
With that, Madam Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve today's consent agenda. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We turn next to administrative and informational topics. We will begin with our county manager's report from Sunny Bryant, our county manager. Good morning, Sunny.
Good morning.
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 Okay, just a couple of quick items on the manager's report. So we have been having quite a few meetings. We're looking at the budget very closely to determine any financial impacts that are due to the COVID-19. We're making sure that we're reacting as quickly as we can. We have finished our 2019 cost allocation plan, and so that's a county-wide plan that we determine the indirect costs that each department incurs for basic operations. We are working on a plan specific to Public Health Department and also finishing up one specific to the Sheriff's Department to determine the actual indirect costs, and the one for the Sheriff's Department is actually to determine the cost per inmate associated with having the inmates at the detention center, so we're finishing those up. And then we're also finishing up our 2019 financial audit, and so that's been something we've been working very hard on, and I appreciate all the work Charlene and the entire department has been putting into that process. It's definitely been a lot on top of everything else that we're working on. So that's all I have for the manager's report, and I will move into the sales and use tax report. So the retail sales tax collections for the month of March. In March, we actually received $465,333, which is up $24,249 from last year. So year to date, our retail sales tax collections are up $196,000. So we receive those collections 2 months behind, and so around the first to second week of June, we'll receive the numbers for April. So at that point, we can really look at what's been happening in our community. as far as those collections. And as I've indicated in the past, one of the things that's really changed our sales tax is the online collections. So the fact that anybody that purchases online is now paying sales tax, the state is collecting those and remitting those to the cities and counties. And so that's definitely had a huge impact for our local sales tax numbers. So the auto use tax collections, as Clerk Grantham had reported in the past, so the month of April came in at $54,640. So a lot of that is because we were obviously closed to the public for a portion of that, and so we'll see over the next couple of months how that's impacted those numbers moving forward. We've been very conservative when it comes to budget numbers, though, so hopefully, you know, as that number comes in, we'll be able to meet budget, and then if not, like I said, we're keeping an eye on it very closely to determine what changes we'll need to make over the next few months. The construction use tax came in at $76,446, so we did receive the quarterly distribution from the city of Canyon City, so that's why that number is quite a bit higher from last year. I'm anticipating, obviously, May to be down because last year they had remitted their number in their quarterly remittance in May. So year to date, we're actually up $65,997, but like I said, that's just because of the timing of that quarterly remittal from them. The lodging tax for the first quarter came in at $18,932. So I'm working very closely with the Tourism Council to make those adjustments because we are anticipating a very strong decrease in their revenues, and so they're looking at all of their contracts right now, determining ways that they can cut the tourism budget for this fiscal year and in the future. We do anticipate that it's going to take a little bit for us to get everything up and running for that. So for the sheriff's 1% sales tax, the month of March came in at $310,000, which is up $16,166 from last year. And year to date, it's up $130,718. The sheriff auto use tax came in at $36,427, which is down $37,611. Year to date, we're down $37,321. And then the sheriff construction use tax came in at $50,964, which is up $32,000. But as I indicated earlier, that's the city of Canyon City's quarterly remittance. So like I said, you know, we're really keeping a close eye on everything as things come in. We're reacting. We've been monitoring all of the financial resources that are available, reaching out to entities to try to collect some funds, try to get some grant revenues coming through, just really trying to stay on top of it so that we're reacting as quickly as we can based on the information we have.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much, Sunny.
Thanks.
All right, other elected officials' comments?
So I just hope everybody had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend and we're safe out there. And give it to, praise the Lord for those that have fallen for our country. I want to appreciate those guys. Want a little reminder that we are under fire restrictions. I'm sorry, stage 1 fire restrictions. It's still really dry out there. We had some nice, much needed moisture the other day, but it's still not enough. It's awful dry. So be very careful when you're out, since we can camp again now. Be very careful out there. One thing to touch on that Sunny briefly mentioned, like grants, most people are probably well aware, the state's $3.3 billion negative on their budget, so they're trying to change funds and cut funds and all kinds of crazy stuff. The grants that were awarded, meaning our $1 million grant for the community center, is still in play. So they haven't taken that away from us, so we're good to go on that, which is a good thing. Kind of worried there for a little bit on a meeting we were on Friday, where they were talking about grants that we had a grant for our courthouse, in fact, that may be in jeopardy, that was awarded to us, but we may not get it. But the $1 million grant for the community center is still going, so we're still moving ahead with that plan. So some things are good.
I would add to that just briefly, and then I'll come your way. But since you brought up the cuts that the state is making, a couple of weeks ago, we sat in this room and we approved a resolution that was signed off on by all of your Fremont County elected officials, asking the JBC and the state to not cut senior homestead exemptions or the same exemption for disabled veterans. And despite the cry from the crowd, the state has chosen to cut those anyway. And it's my understanding that it will be cut for the next 3 years. And there are some folks who are actually asking for it to be a permanent cut. So If you have an interest in this topic, which I think most of us should in one way or another, contact your state representatives, contact those members of the JBC, and let them know how important that is to all of us. So I have a couple of other things, but we'll go ahead and...
Well, the two things I was going to talk about, you guys just talked about, so I'm good to go.
So I want to note something on that too, on the resolution that we did. As soon as we did that, there were several other counties that also got a hold of us, and there were several counties that went right with us going against the state, trying to cut that senior exemption and veterans. So it wasn't just us hollering, there was a lot in the state hollering, so keep talking to them.
Yep. A couple of other things I wanted to note. First of all, that our Fremont County buildings now have been open for a couple of weeks. Things seem to be going really, really well. Just a reminder, we are open for business. Come on down and see how you need to deal to conduct the business that you need to. Also keep in mind, face masks still are required. We are not wearing them on the podium this morning simply because we've tried and you can't hear us through our masks into the microphone. So be aware that we are wearing them also throughout the building, but not this morning during our meeting. The other thing I wanted to discuss this morning is the Coronavirus Relief Fund and the local government distribution. So most of you may be aware that the Federal CARES Act provided the state of Colorado with $2.1 billion in funding to help pay for the costs of the coronavirus. Through Colorado Counties Incorporated, I know cities also started working immediately through CML, the Colorado Municipal League, as well as individual commissioners writing our own letters, making our own phone calls, doing all of those things. We immediately started asking the governor for a local share to come to communities and to counties that have fewer than 500,000 people in them, because those people were already taken care of up front. The first answer that we got back from the state was, nope, we need the money too desperately at the state level. We're looking at a $7 billion shortfall over the next 3 years, and how they had already figured that out is anyone's guess, but that's what we were being told, and that we were not going to get it. So we continued to work, and we were seeking originally a $350 million fund for the 59 counties in Colorado that had not yet received funding. The state has finally agreed, so I'm thrilled today to be able to let you all know we didn't get quite the $350 million, but we got over $272 million for those 59 counties in Colorado that have fewer than 500,000 people. What this money will be used for is it allows local governments, such as this board, to request reimbursement for program payments that are expenditures that were incurred due to the public health emergencies that were not accounted for in the budget most recently approved, and that will be incurred beginning March 1st of this year and ending on December 30th of this year. So we have a lot of paperwork, we have a lot of processes that we need to go through, but I'm thrilled to be able to say that Fremont County's direct share of that $272 million is $4,078,275. So the county will be sharing that as directed with municipalities throughout Fremont County, and also with special districts here in Fremont County that have been affected. So I'm really happy about that. I'm really excited. And I think that it shows there is strength in numbers. Maybe we didn't get it done in senior exemption, although we tried really hard. We were able to get it done with this one, and I'm really happy about that. So I wanted to let you all know. All right, anything else? Okay, next we have citizens who may wish to address the commissioners on a matter not scheduled on the agenda. Do we have anyone in the audience this morning that would like to come up and comment? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. We have 3 items of old business that were all tabled because they were all public hearings at our last meeting, and the building was still closed, and we did not allow in-person public comment at that time. So we left the public hearings open on all 3 of these in order to allow for public comment up through, I believe, last Thursday or maybe yesterday. So the first old business for consideration is a request for a temporary use permit for Howard Creek Farm to allow a wedding venue, including a 4,000 square foot hay barn on 11 acres adjacent to the Arkansas River in Howard. This site will host approximately 15 events a year from May through October, primarily on the weekends. So we held that public hearing. All of our questions had been answered. I don't believe we received any public comment at all, so I'm prepared to accept a motion.
So Madam Chair, I don't know of any comments that we had either. And with that, I would move to approve TUP 20-001 for Howard Creek Farm with one waiver of a surety bond, waiver request.
We actually need to close the public hearing.
Well, let's close
That's
that
true.
public hearing. Okey doke. Thank you.
I'll second it.
All right. It
Good
has been
catch.
moved and seconded to approve TUP 20-001 for Howard Creek Farm, including a waiver of the surety bond. Is there further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Up next, amendments to the Fremont County Zoning Resolution, Section 8.3. This was requesting approval of amendments of the Fremont County Zoning Resolution for meetings. The department had proposed an amendment to the zoning resolution to require mandatory pre-submittal meetings for land use applications. Previous to this change, those meetings were offered to applicants, and now they're going to be mandatory if this passes. So let's close this public hearing. I believe all of our questions were answered. We did not receive any public comment on this, so gentlemen, I'm prepared to entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the amendments to the Fremont County Zoning Resolution, Section 8.3.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the amendments to Fremont County Zoning Resolution, Section 8.3, requiring mandatory pre-submittal meetings for land use applications. Is there further discussion?
Yeah, just one note that this is another step towards making it easier for the applicants to use. So it's just helping with the process.
Absolutely.
It's more better.
It is more better. All right. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And the last item for old business is a new liquor license application. This is for a hotel and restaurant liquor license located at Penrose Pizzeria and Pub LLC at 103 Broadway Street, numbers 11 and 12 in Penrose. This one we did have a bit of an issue because receiving a restaurant liquor license is contingent upon having a valid restaurant license, which has not yet been issued to Penrose Pizzeria and Pub. However, it's in the works, and I believe that this board is comfortable with moving forward on this application, placing a contingency that a valid restaurant license must first be issued before they will be allowed to operate. Again, I would just like to say I don't think that we received any comments from the public hearing. So let's close this final public hearing, and I'll ask for your wishes.
Madam Chair, I don't know of any comments that came in. I do move to approve the new liquor license application for Penrose Pizzeria and Pub LLC, which is at 103 Broadway Street in Penrose, with the contingency of the restaurant license being approved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve a new hotel and restaurant liquor license for Penrose Pizzeria and Pub, contingent upon the same restaurant receiving a valid restaurant license. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, no more new business. Let's move old business. Let's move right on into new business this morning. First up is an agreement for professional services to upgrade the Fremont County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Report. And we have with us this morning Michael Kroll, the Fremont County Emergency Manager. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning.
Good morning.
That's a lot of words, so I'm assuming you're going to tell us what it means.
So the Fremont County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan is due for an update as a 5-year life cycle. And back in 2018, we started on getting all of our municipalities in and getting their buy-in, their commitment letters, their letters to actually spend money for funding. So in this process, we have to put the bid out for proposal, do a RFP, which we did that, and the first time we didn't get any bids back on it. So learning that, and well, knowing that our HMP was going to be expiring in September, we worked very closely, Matthew Sheldon, Sonny, and myself with DHSEM to get some new processes in place, get it out to some different folks across the state to get a bid in for our hazard mitigation plan. This plan, it opens up funding for any disaster that we have. It also allows us to show the state and the federal government that we're taking precautions. We're doing extra procedures to mitigate flooding, fires, educate our communities and municipalities, and work with them to make improvements to reduce the costs of disasters. You can put in $3 of mitigation and it saves you $500 of post-disaster recovery. So that's a huge savings. And as our disasters keep getting more and more expensive, that saves a whole bunch as time goes on, and we're better prepared. So we sent it out, and our proposal date had to be, all the bids had to be submitted by March 31st at 2 p.m. And we got one bid from Synergy Disaster Recovery. And they put together a very complete bid that went with our RFP that we sent out to them. And so today, I would like to request, and I believe you all have the contract, I would like to request that that be submitted for signatures for you folks today, and we can move forward with our HMP process. It's quite a lengthy process, so we've got a lot of work ahead of us, and get that done by September.
Michael, it looks to me as though the total overall project cost is $39,965.80. Where will that funding come from? Was it a grant? Is it something that we had built into our budget for this year?
It is a FEMA grant, and those projects are 75-25. So 75% FEMA funding, and then 25% local jurisdictions, and that is made up of both monetary and in-kind matches, especially for the smaller municipalities that don't have hardly any budget at all to support these and the regular operating budgets. So in-kind is huge for those smaller municipalities in Fremont County.
All right, thank you. Gentlemen, do you have further questions for Michael?
I don't, other than just to reiterate that it's very important that we get this done and help with our processes, and because our disasters are getting bigger and more expensive, like you said, so something that we need to get done.
So with that, Madam Chair, I move that we approve the agreement for professional services to update the Fremont County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan to Synergy Disaster Recovery LLC, $39,965.80.
Don't forget that, 80 cents.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the agreement for professional services to update the Fremont County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan and award this bid to Synergy Disaster Recovery in the amount of $39,965.80. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks for being
Michael.
here this morning. We have next on our agenda another variance request that Emma Davis, our Director of Public Health and Environment, is going to explain to us. So maybe you could start with just a little bit of background and the variance that we received just last week.
Good morning.
Good morning, Emma.
Okay, so we just received our first variance request last Wednesday evening, and it went into effect Thursday morning. The governor came on yesterday, and he is allowing restaurants to be open at 50% for dine-in, so we're going to move to the 50% instead of the 30%. And I also want to make note that if a bar has a restaurant or they contract with a food truck or another restaurant for food services, they can be open following the same restaurant guidelines at this time.
They can be open.
You can be open if you are acting as a restaurant and have a retail food license with our health department, with Fremont County Department of Public Health and Environment. So you have to have that retail food license, and you have to, there's certain criteria that you have to hit. So if you meet those criteria, there's a frequently asked question sheet that came out with the governor's announcement yesterday. So if you have questions, call us and we'll be able to go through that with you. So if you just have a microwave and you're heating up Hot Pockets, that doesn't count as a restaurant. You have to have that retail food license. Okay, so moving on, Fremont County Department of Public Health would like to request another variance request from the Safer at Home Executive Order and amend the CDPHE Public Health Order for Fremont County. So what we're looking to get a variance request from this time is in attachment G and H, which is going to be tasting rooms / sales rooms, which include breweries, wineries, and cideries. And also bowling alleys and the movie theater or movie theaters in Fremont County. Again, it's going to be a very similar request to what we submitted last time, with the addition of our mitigation plan and suppression plan and early detection. We indicated that if there are more than 25 cases in a 7-day period, or if we cannot effectively perform contact tracing and surveillance due to an uptake in the number of active cases, then we would rescind our variance request, or automatically be rescinded through CDPHE. And the 25 cases, that does not include the inmates, the prison inmates. If it is staff, then it does, but we have to conduct the investigation, and Fremont County Public Health does not do the investigation for inmates. That is done at the state level or the federal level, depending on what prison. So,
Thanks for that clarification. That was a question last week that we weren't sure of. Thank you.
Yep. I wanted to make sure that we were clear, because we don't do those investigations, but we do the investigation for the staff. So if they live in Fremont County, if they work here but don't live here, we don't do that investigation. So.
Okay.
It's no wonder we all get so confused, because if, then, therefore, whereas, there are just a lot of rules and regulations. And so, as Emma just said, I would urge anyone with questions to call Fremont County Public Health to get the answers straight from the horse's mouth. I'm really happy to see this. We've been talking about doing this again for the last couple of weeks since we submitted the first one. This one, however, I'm not even going to attempt to give a timeline as to when we may have an answer for this. We tried to do that last time, and we had all best intentions. And I think it just really backfired on us, because we said, well, the state has told us they're looking currently at a 3-day turnaround, and it ended up being, it was over 2 weeks. And people were really angry with that with us over that, although we had done our part, and we were waiting right along with everyone else. So I'm not even going to ask you this morning how long you think that this may take. It will come when it comes. And I also would just like to point out that you have a medical team that you've been working with, a variance committee, to come up with these guidelines to submit to the state. And so the state may not always agree with exactly what our locals think might work out. And so just like last time, they sent back an approval, but they also sent a couple of minor changes, and so that may happen this time as well. So we'll have to wait until we receive an answer back, but just like last time, as soon as we get that answer, we will let everyone know as quickly as we possibly can. So this is a resolution, and what will the resolution number be, please? 34?
34.
Resolution 34. Gentlemen, do you have anything further to add?
Well, yeah, you know, we got hand-delivered the protocols from the Canyon City Bowling Alley last week. And so this isn't just stuff your medical team is coming up with. The Ideal Lanes actually submitted this, and it's like a self-governing thing, in my opinion, and I thought their protocols were pretty tough, actually, on themselves. And so it's just not something you guys are coming up with. This came from the business itself that you're forwarding on to the state. So I think you need to make that clarification that it came from the business themselves.
Yeah. So for most of the variance requests that we submitted, the guidelines did come from the businesses themselves with the oversight of the medical professionals. And again, as I mentioned last time, there's certain areas in our community that are going to feel if there's a breach and there's an uptake in cases. So we need to make sure that we protect those as much as possible. But these did come from businesses. The business protocols that code enforcement did that they reviewed, it came through those. It came from emails. It came from phone calls. So we did work with all these organizations to come up with these protocols. May not have always agreed on what it was going to be, but this is a step in the right direction. So it is a slow process, but we're still making progress, so that's good.
It's progress.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're all very grateful for that progress. Anything else?
No, Madam Chair, I have a motion. You
All
ready?
right, I'm ready.
I move to approve resolution number 34, series of 2020, which is a resolution of the Fremont County Board of Commissioners authorizing submittal of the request for a variance to the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment for tasting sales rooms, bowling alley, and the movie theater.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second to approve resolution number 34, requesting or authorizing the submittal of this request for variance for tasting and sales rooms, bowling alleys, and movie theaters. And I would just like to say again, Emma, thank you so much for all of your hard work, and if you would pass that along to not only your staff, but to those medical experts who are working with you as well. We truly couldn't do it without all of you.
Thank you.
Further
I
comments?
just want to add to that, a little comment to that. Yes, thank them for us. Without their advisement, we're not medical professionals, so we need their advisement to know which direction to go. So we appreciate it tremendously.
And they also appreciate the communication that you have had. So the dialogue between you all and them, they appreciate that. So it's not just a one-way street, it's communicating. So thank you.
All right, thanks, Emma. Anything further? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thanks, Emma.
Thanks, Emma.
The hour has reached 10 a.m., and we have a public hearing scheduled for this morning. This is on Top Rail Ranch filing number 7 to request approval of a final plat for the Top Rail Ranch subdivision. This filing will consist of 22 lots and is currently zoned agricultural suburban. The location is in Penrose and is east of R Street. I believe we have with us this morning Ron Walker. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, hello.
We feel your
Terrible.
pain. So Ron is our applicant, so I would like for you to give us just an update, an explanation of what you're looking at doing.
Like you said, this is 56, I thought Sean would be here with maps and stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry, would you turn on the microphone there? Just
that
that button
button
right
on
in the middle.
There.
Perfect, okay, thank you.
I didn't bring any plat maps or anything because I thought Sean would probably.
He's trying to load them right behind you there. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We also have it all before us in our
I
books.
figured you
Yes.
probably had it. We've submitted quite a bit of it.
Yep.
Basically, like I said, it's a 56-acre hayfield is what it was, or what it is at current. Got 3 cows out there right now. So. This was a no-brainer for me because it has all of the utilities are in. The power is in, the water's in, the phone's in, the paving's in, on all 3 sides. Down Tumbleweed, Seabar Trail, and Top Rail Trail. It's all complete and approved and county maintained and all that. So originally it was a 10-lot plot, and talking to builders and buyers and contractors and stuff, everybody said nobody wants 5 acres to maintain anymore. You know, so this averages 2.5 acres. I think the smallest one's 1.66 and the biggest one's 4 point something. And so it's like I say, it was kind of a no-brainer, an easy one to do. The water, irrigation water situation in Penrose hasn't been good and isn't good, especially this year, for trying to grow hay. So it just made more financial sense to do something with it besides try to grow a few bales of hay and put a few cows on it. So it's there. The only thing I think we were lacking was the drainage letter, and I forwarded it to Sean over the weekend. I got this Friday, so I emailed it to him from Gagliano Engineering.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is. And, you know, it's just along the road. Again, there's not much there. There's a drainage detention pond on the southeast corner on the bottom right side there that you're looking at that's already in place. There's a drainage swale all the way along the south end that runs down to the major drainage area to the west. And that's basically what Gagliano's engineering report says, is that the drainage is there, and it all drains southwest through the field and drains to the south and then runs to the west from there.
All right, thank you. Gentlemen, do you have any questions at this point?
No.
Okay, let's have a staff report from Planning and Zoning Director Sean Garrett, and then after he quickly disinfects and sanitizes, and then we will open the public hearing.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning,
The department
Sean.
has reviewed the application and found it to be complete and a true representation of the requests as stated herein. The department finds that all minimum requirements per the Fremont County subdivision regulations will be satisfied by this application. With approval of a couple contingency items, we did get the revised drainage that has been sent to Matthew Sheldon for review to make sure we're good on there. We'll need proof that water taps can be provided for the lots. And then additional recommendation came from Fremont County Department of Transportation to limit the access points to the lots.
So if I understand, you have a revised drainage plan, but it has not yet been accepted, is that correct?
It has not been reviewed by the county engineer
Has not been
yet, yeah.
reviewed, so it has not been
Yeah,
accepted?
we got that Friday, and he did email that. And
So that does still need to be a
that
contingency
still
then?
needs to be
Okay.
approved.
All right, questions for Sean?
So is the proof of water taps, is that going to be a contingency?
That'll be a
Also-
contingency,
That's
yes.
also be a contingency, okay.
Yes. Okay, nothing further at this time? All right, let's go ahead and open up this public hearing. And I will ask if there are any members of our audience this morning that would like to rise and speak about this. I can let you know, we already do have, I think, 3 separate letters, either in favor or opposing. So those of you who have written those letters, I just want to let you know, we did receive those, and we are taking those into consideration. So no one from the public would like to speak on this? All right, let's close the public hearing then. Gentlemen, do you have questions for the applicant or for Sean?
No, I have nothing.
Questions, issues, concerns? All right, then the board is ready for a motion.
Guess it's my turn, huh? Sorry. Madam Chair, I move to approve the Top Rail Ranch filing number 7. 22 lots and zoned agricultural suburban. Anything else we need on that?
Yeah, contingencies. and,
contingencies.
Oh, the
other
contingencies, the ones I asked about. Okay, let me get to it. And the 2 contingencies, revised drainage plan and the proof of water taps to be provided to the lots.
And the additional recommendation from Department of Transportation.
Yeah, for the access points?
Yes.
Yes, those 3.
Would you
Okay.
just briefly explain that one? Just read it.
Accesses to lots be limited and installed per Fremont County Department of Transportation requirements.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
All right.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve this Top Rail Ranch filing number 7, 22 lots zoned agricultural suburban in Penrose, with the contingencies of an approved revised drainage plan, access to lots being limited and installed per Fremont County Department of Transportation requirements, and proof the water taps can be provided for the lots. I would just like to say real quickly, this feels like this has gone really quick this morning, and I want to just verify for all of you that we have taken much more time to look through the information that we have. We don't come in and we're not handed a book and say, okay, let's approve this. We actually have given this a lot of thought. We have looked through everything. We have verified in our own minds. We truly don't have other questions that we need to ask because the application itself was very thorough. And so just as a note of explanation, a lot more has gone into this decision than sitting here and discussing it for 3 minutes. So I just wanted to let everyone know that.
I want to add on to that. It's exactly what you said. I've read this application 2 or 3 times, and it's very thorough, so thank you for that. I also would like to add that in the county right now, in the county as a whole, we are short of housing. So hopefully you can get these 22 lots going and get homes built for people to be able to reside there. Water is always a contentious point of any building that's going on. Penrose Water has the ability, if they don't have the ability, they won't afford the water taps, which I hope is not the case, but they won't do it if they think they're going to short their other customers. So hope everything goes right, but yeah, there's a lot of thought. I mean, it's a very long, good application, and it's something that we desperately need in the county is more homes. And it kind of surprised me that people didn't want to do 5 acres because we have a lot of these people coming down that are going to be farmers nowadays that weren't. So that was kind of interesting to hear that.
It's hard to farm with no agricultural water
Well,
available.
people are doing it though, and I don't know what's happening with the water rights on that part, but that's not part of this. So I wish you good luck on it though.
All right?
Okay, good.
All right, let's have roll call, please.
Aye.
Bye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Good luck, Mr. Walker. Back to new business for consideration. Item 3, we have a request for a minor subdivision. This is minor subdivision 20-002 for Broken Acres located off Mackenzie Avenue and Highland Avenue in Canyon City. Parcel is currently zoned agricultural suburban and consists of 5.45 acres. The subdivision will consist of 3 lots. We have with us this morning Dr. Angela Bellantoni. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, please turn it on. Thank you. All right.
It's good to finally be seeing people.
It is good, isn't it?
It is, and
Yes.
thank you for everything you've done, because I
Thank
know
you.
you've worked very hard. Good morning. I'm Dr. Bellantoni. I'd like to introduce to you the applicants, if you would take a moment. We have with us Deborah and Lonnie Foster.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thanks for being here this morning.
Mr. and Mrs. Foster purchased this property August 30th of 2018. It's 5.45 acres of irrigated land with some agricultural buildings on it. Thank you, Sean. It is a minor subdivision, subdividing it into 3 parcels. Lot 1 will be Mr. and Mrs. Foster's home, 4.768 acres. It is their home, and they have horses. They currently live west of town. They're moving into town, be closer to amenities, because they're getting younger, as we all are, right? And we like to be closer
Perfect.
to amenities when we get younger, younger at heart.
Yes.
And then there are 2 lots on the south end that are 0.33 acres residential. Those will be for sale to help defray the cost of the move and for their home that they need to do. The neighborhood is, in fact, single-family residences and agricultural land. And that is all I have this
All
morning.
right.
Wouldn't
Thank
that be
you.
on the north end?
That's south.
That's south.
The 2 little lots are on the south end.
2 little lots are on
Aren't
the
they?
south. They,
The two
Oh, no,
small
they're on the
lots.
north end. They're on the north end, but on Highland, right? The 2
On
little
Highland.
lots come off of Highland? Highland's on the north end there, which is, it's opposite of what that lays, sets. Yeah, Highland is where your hand is, right there. Yeah.
Okay.
is it the north arrow pointing north?
I don't see a north arrow.
It's down
Lower
in the
left-hand
corner.
corner.
Sorry, I shouldn't ask that question. Never mind.
Okay. All right.
It's off of Mackenzie and Highland.
There you go.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, thank you. Let's turn to Planning and Zoning Director Garrett for his report.
Okay, good morning. The department has reviewed the application and found to be complete and true representation as requested stated herein. The department finds all minimum requirements per the Fremont County subdivision resolution will be satisfied by this application. There was one contingency item which has been completed, and so we are good to go.
It has been.
It has been completed, yes.
All right, gentlemen, questions of Sean or the applicant? Issues? This looks pretty straightforward.
Sure does.
And again, we have a major application before us. We have a lot of paperwork that we've taken the time to go through, to read, to digest. So I have no
You good?
questions.
Yeah, again, it's a thorough application, so appreciate that. Madam Chair, I move to approve, I gotta find where I am here. Minor subdivision 20-002 for Broken, how you say that, Debbie? It's B-R-O-K-N.
Well, I'm not going through that again.
Broken Acres.
We had to question him, is there really no E in broken? So then we were trying out different,
She was really putting an explanation on it, on there.
yes.
Broken.
yes.
So,
Broken.
move for approval of request 20-002 for Broken Acres minor subdivision.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the request for minor subdivision 20-002 for Broken Acres located off of Mackenzie Avenue and Highland Avenue here in Canyon City, consisting of 5.45 acres and will consist of 3 lots. Is there further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Good luck, guys.
Next before us, we have another request for a minor subdivision. This one is file number 20-003. This is the Harmon Subdivision located at the intersection of 6th Street and M Street in Penrose. The parcel is currently zoned agricultural rural and consists of 9.42 acres. They're asking to subdivide into 2 lots of 4.715 acres and 4.709 acres. And I'm hoping you're Andrew Harmon? All right, please come forward and tell us a little bit about your request.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So we have the 9.4, we've always called it 10 acres, that my parents own there. And what we're doing is splitting it into 2, and then my family and myself are gonna be building a house on what'll be the empty lot. Don't have it with me, but
It'll be up in a moment.
I believe it's lot 1 on the plat will be the one that the house is not on right now.
Yeah, well, we're trying to get a map up there for
Yeah,
you.
Sean lost it.
Basically, you're just splitting a lot in
Just-
half.
Yeah, just splitting it in half to build another residence on it.
Okay.
The only question I had, I saw there was a spirited discussion on Russian thistle. Are those trees on there? Are there a
They
bunch of
are,
Russian
and we've
thistle?
fought those for years.
And
The
you'll
Russian olive
continue
trees
on.
out there, yeah,
Yeah.
they're a nightmare. They always have been.
Yeah. They're a list A noxious
Yeah.
weed. Yeah.
They used to sell them to everybody to plant them, now they tell you not to.
So if you haven't, you may be able to receive help from the Fremont County Noxious Weed Department.
Okay.
If you've never spoken with
No,
them.
never even thought about
Brittany
that,
heads
so.
that department. You can find her and her telephone numbers and email information on fremontco.com
Okay.
under Weed Department. So give her a call, and she's really good at what she does. We've done a lot of those projects around the county. So.
Excellent. Thank
And
you
I
for that.
think if you're in the conservation district as well, you can get help from them, because those are mitigation plans that are going on throughout the county, because we're trying to get rid of those, trying to eradicate them. So I would definitely reach out to both of those entities, or to Brittany and the conservation district, and see what you can find out.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Sean, do you have a report for us? We did see the map up briefly.
Not working real well today.
Plus, we do have it.
Okay, so the department has reviewed the application and finds it to be a complete and true representation of the request as stated herein. The department finds that all minimum requirements per the Fremont County subdivision regulations will be satisfied by the application. There are no contingency items for this application.
So no contingencies. This obviously then was another complete application.
Complete application, straightforward, everything's taken care of.
Pretty straightforward. Yeah, I had no questions looking through this.
No?
Gentlemen, anything further?
I had nothing.
No? All right, the chairman will call for a motion.
That, Madam Chair, I move that we approve the minor subdivision for Harmon Minor Subdivision 20-003, noting there is no contingency items or waiver requests.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve minor subdivision 20-003 for Harmon Subdivision. This parcel is located at 6th Street and M in Penrose. And as Commissioner Payne noted, there are no contingency items and no waiver requests. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you so much.
Good luck. Thank you.
Good luck. Thanks, Sean. The final item on our agenda this morning is approval of a notice of award for improvements to Fremont County Airport Taxiway Rehabilitation and authorization of the chairman's signature. So I believe County Manager Sonny Bryant will have a report. Hi again, Sonny.
Hi, okay. So this project is the current project out at the Fremont County Airport. So we did apply for FAA funding. Due to the CARES Act, we did receive 100% funding, so there is no local match requirement, nor do we have to go to the state of Colorado for a CDOT match, so we're pretty excited for that. The project was put out to bid, and we received one bid, and that bid is from Kiewit Construction, and the bid amount is $489,199.50. So we do have the funds that is within budget, and so we are requesting to move forward with a notice of award to Kiewit for this project. We are working with them to determine a proper timeline to help decrease the impact that it will have on any of the businesses out there, and so we're going to be very diligent in that process and try to limit those impacts.
As a taxiway rehabilitation, this does require us to shut our taxiway down for a minimal amount of time, correct?
Yes, it's up to a week is what they're
Okay.
looking at. I think 7 to 10 days actually is the timeline that they're given. There is quite a bit of financial impacts if it does go beyond that, so the contractor does have a lot of incentive to try to maintain those dates.
And as you stated, we do understand that this could have a negative impact on the businesses who run out there, and so it needs to be done. We think that the benefits certainly will outweigh the problems with getting it there, so I think that we are prepared to go ahead and move forward. Questions?
No, I think
Comments?
those businesses have been in the conversations already too, so it's not like it's something sprung on them. These normally too are 90-10, right? Is it 10% match? So it's
Yes.
pretty awesome that with the CARES Act that it's not going to cost the county anything out of pocket. Unless there's anything else, I'm ready for a motion, Madam Chair.
We're ready.
I move to approve the notice of award to Kiewit for $489,199.50 for the Fremont County Airport Taxiway Rehabilitation, and authorize the chairman's signature.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded to approve the notice of award for improvements for Fremont County Airport Taxiway Rehabilitation and authorization of the chairman's signature in the amount of $489,199.50 to Kiewit Infrastructure Company. Further discussion? Roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you. And with that, we have no further business coming before this